Even educating the people on from a let's say a commercial point of view. What I mean is that people, there is no harm to disclose financial figures. And when we tried to gather the impact of and how much people have lost during this pandemic, people were reluctant to put a figure, even if it was an anonymous survey. So we told you, okay, you don't put your name also. It's fine. Just say you are a company A on category B. Don't put your name, and we'll make sure this is a confidential information. How many people? So people were reluctant. They are not used to let's say associate with a specific association. I think now.
It also, I think, depends on the experience they've had with associations in the past. So, once bitten, twice shy, or, or whatever the reason is, or maybe people have things to hide. But when it comes to money, people are always...
But a lot of the time, like, especially when I found with working, in ILEA and supporting associations, like, everyone kind of silos themselves.
Yeah.
And we kind of, fall within our own little groups, and we don't really come together. But I know that's obviously changing.
I think it's got a lot to also do with the leadership. Like it's really refreshing to hear that the first thing that you're presenting with is that you're passionate about the industry and about making sure it's sustainable. Like it's one of the questions that I've got later on. I've heard you make this statement so many times. Like it's not just a throwaway line. It's not just a PR line. It genuinely is there, and everything you're doing is backing that up. So I actually think it's fantastic that you're the president-elect at a time of the pandemic. I'm being very selfish here.
It's a lot of work ahead.
But like it takes someone like that. You know, in the face of someone like that, it's got to be someone that thinks outside as opposed to inwards about how's it going to benefit me? How do I look after me? Your first sentence has constantly been, how do we look after everyone else? How do we make sure we're sustainable? So it's great to have you.
And I mean, we meet a lot of people and we interview a lot of people. And one of the questions that I keep asking people, okay, what did you study? What was your career? And how you have moved into the events and exhibition. I tell you, 90% is by coincidence, including myself.
Including me, including Dan.
Including me. No one has, and it's a problem that we need to fix because industries, if they are not sustainable, they will not let's say they won't exist in the future. I mean, maybe after 50 or 60 years people will not do events if it's not sustainable. If someone, as soon as he finishes high school, he said, I want to be an event planner, I want to be an events manager, I want to be a designer, I want to be a producer, for example, it will be a problem. I mean, and attracting youth, I tell you, 90 to 95% whom I meet, they will tell me by coincidence.
Well, I think a lot of that, well, especially from my own experience, it was never seen as a real valid career choice. It was often seen as like a hobby or something which was nice. When I told my parents I was running away with the circus, they were like, oh my God, I wanted you to be a lawyer or a doctor or a policeman.
I majored in criminology and politics.
And now you're in events.
No, I'm in events. My parents are like, what happened? What happened?
Well, quickly, I don't think this is on the list of questions, but I know that you're a big supporter of the next generation and of youth, and I think DXB Live and the Trade Centre have an internship policy. Is it the Llama project?
Yes. Llama is focused on UAE national. I mean,
but that's great though to get more UAE nationals within the events industry, which has synonymously been, I guess, like a private sector type of industry, I guess.
So and as I said, there is none of UAE nationals, if you tell them now if they finish their school, do you want to go, do you think events will be part of your career? They will say no.
Absolutely not.
And we need to change this perception. So we started our training program, bringing people and even we have a scholarship also for some of the individuals who really shine. So we do send them outside and to learn and get exposed to the events world. I mean, we were working with five current and a couple of projects at Expo, and one of the things which Five Current has agreed to do is to train UAE nationals. So we said, okay, part of this agreement is that in one of your major shows outside, you will train one of the UAE nationals.
That's
and delightfully they have accepted.
I know we were working on all the plans, and then the pandemic came, and it kind of like stopped everything. But it'll be exciting to really pick those up against once it all starts moving again, because we had some great people working on the team that I was on, and that we're going to join that project.
Which project?
The Expo project. We work with 5 Currents. So yes, we had some great interns which are joining that, and we're looking at
But there was also is that the program that the Dubai College of Tourism was doing?
No.
Or was that that's a separate one as well?
Dubai Tourism runs their own institute.
But that's brilliant. Like think about it. We had baptism of fire. We just literally got thrown into events, and it's like sink or swim. I still remember no one showed me how to do things.
The first time I ever did an event, it was literally like, there's a box, go pick it up and go and like do something.
Yeah. So
and if I didn't do something, someone shouted at me.
You know, and like.
Literally what I was like,
I'm just going back in just history and memories of going.
I mean,
how
it was
many
a
times
long time when you started events.
Speak for yourself, my friend. See, you fix on me all the time. But I'm just thinking. I'm like, yep, I can remember the number of times I've had some producers, some veteran screaming at me, telling me to hurry up or go grab that. Exactly. So when you
never had the training. It wasn't.
Never had the training.
It wasn't like a curriculum that you were given. It was a baptism of fire. But it's great now that there's initiatives in place.
It's fantastic.
That can educate and can embrace the next generation of people, which are going to lead our industry.
But listen, I'm gonna while we're on this topic, let's talk about. How much of it do you think you can learn in a classroom, and how much of it is it still on site? There's stuff that you won't know until you go on site.
See, I mean, if you look at the program that EMDI, for example, has initiated, I think it's an excellent program. Yeah, so
I teach there.
So they used to mix between academic and between the real, and I think there are a lot of universities also outside which they let's say. It's part of their education. I mean, events is part of their educational program. But just going back to this is not only. This is not only the regional problem. Yeah. So there is a lot of part of the world. Events has 100%. The same. Has 100%. The same.
Agreed.
The same.
Even in the UK.
Agreed.
Now where I'm from,
in Australia, all of it.
Events was never seen as a viable career option. It was always something you did if you didn't become a lawyer, a policeman, a fireman. Like a serious job. And I remember that one day when I sat with my mum and said, I'm going to run away with a circus, and she literally cried. She was like, I had so many expectations for you, and then you've disappointed me to be a fire breather.
But that is the one line that no parent wants to hear.
Do
you know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of other things you can say. I'm going to run away.
She was. I never went to university. She was so disappointed, and now it's like only finally she's like, oh my god, I really see what you do. You work on amazing things, and we make nations proud. We contribute to the economy. We do great
I still don't think my mom knows what I do. I still don't think she can explain
I don't know what you do. No, it's okay.
No one knows what I do. It's an enigma. But we digress.
Always.
I'm going to move on to a question that we've had so many people ask us, and I think you're one of the best people to answer, and that's with DTCM and with the Trade Center and the guidelines that are coming out. We 15th of September was the date that events are relaunched. There's so many different guidelines out there, or there's a set of guidelines out there, but people are still getting it wrong. I just wanted to sort of go through some of the top line ones. You're dealing with it now. You're trying to get events going. What are the key parameters that have to be adhered to get things moving, to give that confidence in?
See, I think the guidelines was clear. Even we as an association, we have received copy of the draft guideline for our comments on the guidelines, and I think the team has responded very well to the guidelines. It's the only problem I think you have is today how people have perceived the guidelines. So some people might say, okay, no, I can get away with this part, or I can get away with that part. Now, having done shows in our venue, I think it's strictly been monitored by the key stakeholders.
100%.
So they've checked it. They checked the floor plan. They visited the site before to make sure the guidelines are met. Now, events and non-events also. I think we've been hearing recently there is a lot of restaurants being closed, which we didn't hear at the beginning. Maybe. So the monitoring exercise now will become tougher.
Has gone up.
Well, of course, it has to.
Yeah. And it's. I think it all depends on the person who is organizing it to make sure he follows the guidelines. Otherwise.
But as a venue and as an agency, have you found it hard to follow the guidelines?
No. I think
they're fairly straightforward. There's a lot of common sense.
But that's what I mean. Like, what astounds me is you're a massive venue. Like the World Trade Center is a massive venue, and the size of events that you're bringing back on are pretty big. You as an agency as well, dealing with different clients, you're not finding it hard to adhere to the rules. You're not finding it hard to still deliver events under these rules. Then how is it that there's people, we've heard it recently, people getting fined, DJs getting arrested, events happening. How is it simply that people are just ignoring it and don't care, or is it ignorance?
When you say people, I think it's some people.
Some people, correct, 100% correct.
See, if you follow the correct steps by applying an e-permit, and at that time all the requirements will be fulfilled.
Yeah.
So I think these are type of events, maybe that maybe a DJ who's playing in let's say in a club or somewhere, and it's a different guideline that he needs to follow, which is a lounge guidelines or a restaurant guidelines. However, when it comes to the events, I know that it's been strictly monitored, and it's people's right also to make sure that the environment that they are going in is safe.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's our duty as event people. If we're going to have hundreds of people, thousands of people, tens of people attending an event, we as events professionals should always look after the welfare of the staff and the people and the guests which are coming to our events. This is now just an extension of that. We've often been talking about health and safety. I know the Trade Centre's been very proactive in terms of developing, I guess, standards of how we deliver events here. And now we're focusing on the well-being, not necessarily just the health and safety, but the well-being of people.
That's the thing. Whoever wants to be responsible for the for someone falling ill, or heaven forbid someone passing away because you've been negligent,
or anything to do with health and safety, we have a duty to ensure that we protect people as much as possible and minimise the risks. We do that by following the guidelines. That's what they're there for, and they're very straightforward.
Well, then I guess there's just people that don't seem to respect them.
Yeah,
I think will be the nicest way of putting it.
Or they need to be vocal about it also. If I read a document and now it's like more like a standard operating procedure document during this pandemic. If I have a doubt in a point, and they need to be just loud about it. And I think. We are a trade center. Department of Tourism is responsible for this part. It's not trade center, but I know they've been very approachable, dealing
Well,
with
it's a phone call. They're a phone call away. They've been very active, haven't they? If ever you guys have a question, like you said, you're not the tourism body, but you're right next door. It affects you. If ever any of your team have a question, it's a simple pick up the phone or an email, and same for you.
Because we're working on a few projects where we can proactively, hopefully, get the industry moving again. And support locally based performers, because I think for us they've been impacted so much, and DT team have been great. We pick up the phone, we have conversation with them, there's dialogue. The reality is they want documentation, they want proof, they want evidence, and they want to see that you're doing the due diligence and planning properly. And I think as long as we all do that, then there's no reason why we can't get events up and running and moving again. We've just got to prove it to people that we're responsible, that we can do this properly.
But they've also been adapting, haven't they? So if I've seen a set of guidelines will come out, and then something in there doesn't quite make sense, and then members of the industry have sort of gotten in touch. I remember speaking to you about the covering and sort of
the musicians.
For the musicians. It was like, I get it. It came out, and then there was conversations that were had, and it was reissued. It's constantly adapting.
But I guess the guidelines are constantly evolving because the situation's constantly evolving. And at some point, as we can see around the world, we want to get to a position where we go back to normal. That's the end goal. So you'll see restrictions, I guess, will be released, or they might have to be increased, or I think it's a dialogue, and we get the notifications from the government, and we do what we need to do.
Well, that's one of the questions I have. When we return back to normal, the question I've got is, do you feel, and this is more of an opinion, not a fact or any and won't be held, but do you think the event industry and the way we operate is going to change forever, or do you feel that this is for the time being, or has this actually brought up some really good opportunities for us to be better?
I think it will go back, but it will take a long time, for sure. That social distancing, hygiene level, and all those type of things, I think it will take,
some of these measures are not a bad thing. I personally like a little bit of distance, and I'm quite glad that people are now washing their hands like they should have been doing anyway.
Exactly.
But it will take time for the event world to go back to where it was before the pandemic. I think.
A lot of that down to confidence. Making sure we can get consumers to come back to trade shows or to events, and that's, I guess, a much bigger picture, because then you're talking airlines, you're talking travel, you're talking immigration. It's huge.
But it's also, we were talking earlier, you were talking about how, yes, we're open to have exhibitions, And, you know, we know that consumers want to come, but then the math has to work for the exhibitors. That's where it's a little bit more difficult, because they still have to have the same spend. Are they still getting the same ROI? Or, as you said, do they actually have the spend after being hit and having to survive the last couple of months? Can they actually exhibit even if they wanted to? So that's a real consideration at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, true. I think different industry. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if there is any medical gathering today, will people come on it? And then you will have half of the people will say 100% it will be packed, and then there is the other half no, because they know the industry and they might feel it's unsafe.
Exactly.
So I think there is a different, it's a different point of view and different perception. I think, however, personally, based on the events that was conducted and I've been to and I've seen, is the reaction was better than what we expected, honestly saying. I think you know, the events organized, the stand-up comedy, Jimmy Carr.
I went to that. It was done so well. So well.
He sold out. There was an additional day because you know, tickets were out the door.
But I have to say, everything was so organized. Like credit to the team. It was done really well. You arrived. At no point did you feel unsafe. At no point did you feel that people, you know, that the team didn't know what they were doing. The venue was quite, you know, everything was organized, the seating, all of it. It was really well done, and there was no fear. I didn't feel any fear, like that. It just wasn't there.
Because DXB Live produced the first event, which was AI Everything.
How was that?
It's that was excellent. Also, I don't know if you've been there. I think the response from the visitors.
I think we were in here recording.
We were in here recording,
and see, the message is the confidence of the visitors. Yeah, so people were confident that okay, if I go now, a lot of it also comes back with the Dubai World Trade Center being a pioneer on that world, you know, on the exhibition and events world. So people were confident that okay, if I go to that place, they will make sure it's safe, and we made sure also that people are safe. Yeah? So we didn't let the visitors down, you know, through all their journey from the car park to the hall, back to the car park and F&B areas. We made sure we maintain a social distance. We made sure that hygiene standard is extreme, and the whole area is sanitized, you know, before every show. And we've seen 3 nights. Actually, it's not 2. So they added another 3rd night, and it was, I think, full. It was sold out.
Because we saw the pictures. I saw quite a few pictures. It looked really amazing.
All of the events that have been down there. I think since then as well, there's been like honestly like a Bollywood concert down at the Trade Centre. There's been quite a few. Concert. And then you've had the sports events which have been happening all summer.
I mean the sports events is running, so it will run till end of October also for now. We might it might be extended. Okay. And the response there is again, it's excellent. Actually.
I've heard you can't book a court, you can't book a pitch like 5 days, 6 days. Yeah.
Well, for everyone that feels that, you know, the confidence isn't there from consumers and from people wanting to get back out there, well, that's proof that that's not the case.
But again, we've got to just prove that we can do it responsibly and not act. You know, we can't cram so many people in. We have to adhere to the guidelines. Because again, you know,
I think the problem is the negative news always gets more airtime than the positive news.
Of course it does. Right now, it's our duty to ensure that we're portraying Dubai and supporting Dubai tourism to get back to a much positive message and to show people that yes, we can do this properly.
Well, you said you saw a post on LinkedIn about, you know, there's a great deal of interest for 2021 business.
Yeah, it was the Trade Centre. I think there was something on LinkedIn a while back that said, you know, there's confidence that things will return, you know, trade shows will return in 2021. And things will happen again.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the trade show, yes, for sure. I mean, we always see for a company which is looking for a new market, an opportunities for new markets, being a person who is exhibiting coming from Europe or coming from Asia, exhibiting at our venue, or a company in Dubai going outside and looking for a new market. Trade show has always been a solution for them. Trade show has always been a solution for industry innovation. So if an industry wants to reveal, let's say, a specific new technology, or trade shows has always been the platform. So So when you look at economy and when you look at trade shows, they work hand in hand. And when you look at industries and trade shows, there are trade shows supports industry. There are industries which supports trade shows. I think it's in the hand of the organizer to make it successful. I mean, if he manages to attract the right visitor and he has the right content in his trade show, I think it becomes successful. And yes, we think trade show is very important for the recovery phase, and I think it will become vital at the recovery. I mean, we've seen. I mean, we had a lot of visitors. Our visitor didn't drop in 2008, for example. When the first economic crisis has happened, it might reduce a little bit, but it wasn't dropped significantly because people was also curious about their industry. Yes, being a person who consumes for industry or adds to that industry. Today, I'm sure if we do a show related to events and exhibitions, you will see a lot of people coming in, just to understand what's going on. What's going on? What is the available opportunities? When things will recover? There are a lot of questions which people get the answer on the trade show.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I think going back to what you mentioned about innovation, it's a great platform for that innovation. And I think that's what could be quite key, I guess, for 2021 onwards, that as we go through recovery across multiple industries, it's a great chance to innovate and to see different things. And I think I've been on numerous panel discussions where many people have been talking about this now is a great opportunity to embrace technology, to innovate and to look at how we do things, and to go back to your point previously about becoming more sustainable.
Well, this leads so nicely into my last question for the day. Well done. We're doing well here.
It's like we've done this before.
I know, right?
It's almost like we're professional.
Not quite yet. One day. As the president-elect for ILEA, I'm sure you've had a lot of time now to think about how you want to step into the role, what vision you have. Like, we've touched on a lot of your thoughts already, but I'd like to just take a moment to finish off with what members can expect, what the industry can expect from your leadership.
See, I think it will go in two phases. So the first one is unity. So we need to become one. We know we all compete with each other when we pitch against each other.
Business is business.
Yes. However, when we talk about our industry, we need to have one voice.
True story.
We can't have. So first, I think we need to unify all our let's say voices, our opinions, in a proper and a very transparent format. I mean, there is nothing to hide. Basically, it's an industry which needs a group of people to have an input to. So, and then sustainability, which I said, when we will feel happy, I mean, even during my presidency or even after the presidency, yes, the associations, ILEA is one platform, but even if my presidency finished, I will still be supporting the industry. And my dream is to find 10-year-old boy, for example, he said, my wish to become an events producer.
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
So when he comes and he says, okay, after 20 years, I want to be an events producer, then we think that, yes, we have achieved.
That's a really amazing vision. I never thought about it that way.
For sure.
For
me, it's to find the next Emirati choreographer, like somebody that could take it to the world stage.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's a great note to finish on today.
Yeah.
I've got the warm and fuzzies.
There you go.
Thank you so much for your time, Khalid.
No, thank you so much, and good luck with everything that's going on.
Yeah, thank you.
And also a big thank you to Saif. I know Saif's working really hard behind the scenes to hustle everything going on with ILEA.
He keeps making Khalid go from here to there to there. Shout out to Saif in the background there. Thank you so much for coming.
Welcome.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you.
Anytime.
We'll be having you back. We look forward to seeing
after 10 years, maybe.
After 10 years.
And we're here to support.
Exactly. It's good. Until the next one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is probably the most iconic hotel in the UAE and possibly the world. Let's go check out the water park.